All right, I want you to imagine something. You are the CEO of the biggest audio company in the world. You've just poured billions into a massive, game-changing strategy. The first big results are in, and they are not at all what you expected. So what do you do? Do you double down or do you pull back? That's the huge decision we're going to unpack right now. Okay, so to really get the stakes here, you have to understand just how big Spotify is. I mean, look at this. They have almost a third of the entire global music streaming market. They're not just another company in the space. For years, they have been the undisputed king of the hill. So let's just set the stage before they made their big pivot. This is not a story about some struggling startup. Nope. This is a story about a company that was already massively, unbelievably successful. And wow, the numbers really speak for themselves. Just take a look at this snapshot from Q3 2025. We're talking 713 million people using it every month. 281 million of them are paying subscribers. That generates over 4 billion euros in revenue and almost 600 million in profit in just one quarter. This is an absolute giant. Which, brings us to the biggest question of this whole thing. Why on earth would a company that successful decide to risk everything on a huge, expensive new bet? Why wasn't just dominating the world of music enough for them? So this is how they went for it. Kicking off in 2019, Spotify went all in on podcasts. And I mean all in. This wasn't some tiny little side project. We're talking billions of dollars buying up podcast studios like Gimlet, tech companies like Anchor, and signing these massive culture-shaping exclusive deals, like the one for Joe Rogan. It was a huge, deliberate push. And here is the why behind it all. See, every single time you stream a song on Spotify, they have to pay a royalty to the music industry. It's this huge, never-ending cost that really puts a cap on their profits. So they were hunting for a new kind of content, something they could actually own and get off that royalty treadmill for good. But it wasn't just about the money. There was another, just as important goal: increasing what they called user stickiness. In the subscription business, your number one enemy is churn. That's when people cancel. So stickiness is that secret sauce that makes people stay. And Spotify was convinced that podcasts were the key ingredient. Now, this is really interesting. This quote right here is the entire playbook. It's the core idea behind their whole multi-billion-dollar bet, spelled out plain as day. Their data and what analysts were seeing showed that if they could get you hooked on both music and podcasts, you are way, way less likely to ever cancel your subscription. For them, that was the strategic holy grail. So, the strategy was in place. The billions had been spent. And then, the Q3 2025 results came out. And this, right here, is the turning point. This is when the report card for that gigantic bet finally arrived. And, at first glance, things look pretty good. Their main business, that super reliable, profitable music subscription service, is still growing at a really healthy 9% compared to last year. The engine of the company is still humming along just fine. But then, you see this. And it's a total shock. The ad-supported side of the business, the very part where all that podcast money was supposed to create explosive growth, is actually shrinking. It's down 6%. And this chart is where the scale of that problem really hits you. That shrinking ad business is just a tiny fraction of their massive, growing music business. They spent billions to grow this small part of the company, and instead, it actually went into reverse. So this leaves the leadership team, and by extension us, with a huge strategic dilemma. These results create a very clear fork in the road, and there are two totally different paths they could take from here. So this is what's on the table. Option 1, you double down. You tell everyone that 2025 is just a transition year. You push your ubiquity strategy to be everywhere even harder by expanding into video and audiobooks, and you bet that long-term dominance is worth all this short-term pain. Or option 2, you refocus on music. You pour your energy back into the profitable, growing core of the business, and you step away from the expensive, low-margin ad business that just isn't paying off. So here we are. You're now in the CEO's chair. You've seen all the data, you understand the big strategy, and you've seen the pretty shocking results. The decision is now yours. At the end of the day, it all boils down to this one question. Do you take the hit now, the financial pain, the bad headlines, because you believe that owning all of audio will lead to total dominance in the future? Or
Do you make the safer call and refocus all your energy and money on the proven, profitable music engine that made you king in the first place? What's your call?